Okay. I'd like to introduce Kathy McNally. She comes from Connecticut. She's been on the water all her life. She came here to Florida in about 6 years ago. She came here about 6 years ago. She's been racing with the bow chasers, and now she wants to become more experienced and learn new rules, or all the rules. So she's joining the TheWindlasses. Yay! In her spare time, she likes to renovate her house.
What do you want? Yeah. You want to do it that way? Okay. My name's Kathy McNally, and I am introducing Diane Keene, who learned to sail about 25 years ago here in Dunedin in a pram through the city, not with the windlasses.
Louder.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Then she joined Clearwater Community Sailing. Not the sailing center, but it was a group that I guess is a
Sailing club.
Sailing club that's not in existence anymore. And she sailed big boats and did racing like the Bikini Cup and things like that. And she had bought her own boat, 14 foot. And then she just stopped sailing. And since she is going to retire at the end of this year, she decided to join the Windlasses, which is something she said she always wants to do. So, Diane.
Hi.
Go Cardinals.
Can you hear? Yeah. I'm Susie Valentine, and we just found out there's 3 people here from St. Louis, which is very
Woo!
and we'll be rooting for the Cardinals.
That's right.
Janice here. Janice Mitchell was born and raised in Webster Grove, a suburb of St. Louis County. Went to University of Missouri, Columbia, and has been in school leadership administration. She has her doctorate degree. She came down here and met her husband at her condo. He was the manager.
Interesting.
She ignored for many months, and then finally a spark happened, and they're married and happily ever after, which is my favorite. So she is now an online professor until May, and she's been sailing for 3 years with the TI Tackers, but after she married, her and her new husband moved up toward Clearwater, so she's closer to the Windlasses, so she's very excited to be here. 2 adult children, Ashley in Boston and Patrick in St. Charles, Missouri. And the fun fact is she was on the synchronized swim team, so maybe she can teach us.
I just talked.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear it? Okay. I'm Janice Mitchell, and I'm introducing Susie Valentine, who, as we just have said, we both came from St. Louis, Missouri. And I have to have glasses for all this. Susie went to Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin in Madison, and she learned to sail up in Wisconsin at Lake Mendota. And then she went on from there to New York, and she did some sailing there in the Saratoga Lake up there. And she has spent her career basically in politics. She's helped with campaigns. I know you all haven't heard of these people, but one is Walter Mondale, and the other is Joe Biden, that she has helped with. She moved from Albany, New York, and became employed by the AFL-CIO. She then retired, or so she thought she retired, and got the call from the New York State Democratic Senate and became their chief of staff.
Cool.
So she currently works part-time for 9/11 Health Watch, which is a really cool nonprofit organization that assists with health care and compensation for individuals who worked or lived around the World Trade Center. for 9/11. She had a friend that lived in the Dunedin area and invited her to come visit and get to know this area, and she just fell in love with it. And so last January, they moved here permanently. She has never had access to sailing because of location, kids, busy, maybe politics. And so now she does have access to it, so she's really excited to be a part of the Windlasses. She has 3 adult children, Patrick in Buffalo, we both have a Patrick, Tyler in Denver, and Katie in Washington, D.C. And a fun fact for her is that she started a women's hockey team in Albany called the Arctic Foxes. Kind of like the Windlasses, Arctic Foxes. So welcome her. I couldn't remember all this without having a chance.
I'm Andy McCullers, and I'm introducing Lizbeth Peterson. Lizbeth was born...
Where's Lizbeth?
Good, thank you.
Oh, there she is.
Lizbeth was born and raised in Copenhagen. She started sailing in her mid-20s, so that was about 5 years ago. And it's all coming back to her. And she's already advanced to the sunfish. Lizbeth also lived in Malaysia, Italy, and then moved to Miami around 2002, something like that. And then she moved to Dunedin about 2 years ago, and a total blessing for me because she's become a really great friend, and she's been very helpful to me during a sad time in my life.
Okay. So now you know that I'm very technical. So I'm Lisbeth, and I'm introducing my loving, dear friend Andy. My friend who always has my back. We actually met here in Dunedin like 2 years ago. We both vegan, plant-based, whole food plant-based. So Andy invited to a Facebook group here, invited in if someone was interested in joining a plant-based lunch, and I jumped in, and we have been best friends since. So Andy moved from Maryland, has been sailing for many, many years. You are badass, you have been doing crew on the water as well. Rowing crew. So yeah, that's it. You have a daughter who lives here in Dunedin and a son who still lives up north.
Thank
And
you.
Andy is retired.
Thank you.
I'm not a germaphobe, but just in case. I'm Linda Lack, and I am introducing Lynn, and I'm going to slaughter her last name. She said it sounds like Count Dracula, but it's not. It's called Dracky. Did I do it right? Okay. Now it's going to be Count Dracula. I know. That's what I kept thinking too. Okay, I have to pull my notes up because I don't have the memory like the rest of you do. Hold on. I was busy cleaning. I wasn't paying attention that it was going to be my turn. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. Better? All right. Lynn and her husband Jeff, right, moved here 3 months ago. She is a DC native, but she has lived up and down the whole eastern coast over her young life. Her sailing experience, she has got quite a lot actually. She crewed for a Hobie Cat in Miami, and their crew was voted Crew of the Year in 1980, and she claims this is showing been 12, right? She was also first mate on her dad's 33-foot camper named Nicholson. Her favorite race she has ever done was an overnight spinnaker race on the Chesapeake Bay, which sounds way fun. She recently retired from teaching, but she worked for research for a number of years. And her most memorable project, which we're going to have to ask her about, was sniffing for subs under the Arctic ice. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but we will find out. She doesn't have a sailboat currently, but she did finally get her hands on a bike. So she loves being outside, biking. She loves to kayak, paddle, and snorkel. She says she had to hang up her snowboard because she was the old lady on the board. But she does hope to get her scallop fishing license soon. She learned about the windlasses from one of her neighbors, and she didn't. Who was that? Mickey, her neighbor Mickey. And her goals are to acquire better sailing skills, confidence on the water, to have fun, be active, and meet more peeps. And a fun fact about her, however, I find it a little odd. She doesn't like dill pickles. Who doesn't like dill pickles? But she loves grouper. So welcome, Lynn.
All right, I'm going to use a big Margot voice because I remember I was a teacher, so I know how to reach the back of the classroom. So I am going to introduce Linda Lack. She and her husband moved here 5 years ago from Iowa, and I know she just recently returned to Iowa to visit her 2-year-old granddaughter. Aww. Right? She has sailed and raced a 27-foot Hunter for 10 years prior to moving here. And this is pretty epic. She was voted the first female Commodore of the Ted Rock Yacht Club in Iowa. And this is really pretty awesome. She was the only woman who single-handled a sailboat on the lake. Nice, all right? Nice. She is currently without a sailboat, but many of us are. But she does bike, she paddle boards, and I think she's got this like really cool bamboo board, so I want to find out some more about that. She scuba dives, she fosters animals, love that about her, and she's a textile artist. I'm very curious about that. So, introducing Linda Lack.
Right. These are hard acts to follow. Well, Polly and I didn't get the memo. I said, oh, Polly, I twisted your arm to join, so I'll introduce you, and then we found out this. Anyway, I'm Joan. I joined in 2014, and this is my friend Polly Krause. Polly was born in Indiana and raised in Ohio. I've known her for years, but getting all these facts down. Her background is she's a respiratory therapist and met her husband Barry in North Carolina. And they moved to the Clearwater area in 1996. Polly's got 3 awesome boys. 2 are in New York City. One is doing his residency in MedPeds. The other is in marketing? Yeah. Marketing, and Noah is a student at the University of Miami. What else?
I volunteer.
Yes. The thing I admire most about Polly is she volunteers, she takes charge, she's very involved in social action organizations, political organizations, and I said, you gotta do something fun. And so we've done biking, kayaking, and I said, you ought to try sailing. She's like, I'd like to. I said, all right, you're in, come on. So she's here, she's getting better, and I think she'll be an awesome addition to the group.
All right, welcome, ladies. All right, if you turn around, we have cupcakes for each of you. Now, I will tell you, they have already done their own social to get to know each other as a New Salt group. So, I'm sure they'll be scheming a fabulous skit for us in May. So welcome all